Good morning, everybody. Most of the information that I want to convey to you is already on the website. So I think the most important thing that I want to tell you is register to the newsletter if you're interested to be informed. Also follow us on social media, so LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. And like that you will know everything that we are doing as closely to timely relevance as possible. And in addition to these two stakeholder workshops, we are also running pilot trainings. We will have several of them at national level, so in the CEN-CE partner countries. The first one will be in Zagreb, now in the beginning of December, and it's already a full house from what I heard from our colleagues. And the next one will be next year in February in Venice for the Italian professionals, and then most likely we will have one in Slovakia following soon. However, on top of that, because CEN-CE wants to also develop an e-learning infrastructure, that's how we call it, but let's call it an e-learning environment, we also are performing an online pilot training and certification. So this is something that you can register for. It will only have a limited number of the EPB standards from the heating and domestic hot water part. I think 3 of them will be in total. My colleagues can confirm which exactly. I encourage you to register. The whole purpose of this online pilot training is to gather feedback from you. It's something that will be done in the website, in the back end of our website. So you will be given access to the protected area, and I will provide you all relevant information throughout the process. And at this stage, it's a very basic e-learning environment. However, in parallel, we are developing the actual e-learning infrastructure. So you can imagine that any input that you give us will be valued, so that the e-learning part of CEN-CE scheme will be very operational and useful for building professionals in general. It's very simple to register. There's a form on our website, and of course you can find a lot of the messages that were delivered today, especially on the why should you become trained on our website. Now, regarding the e-learning environment, the real one that will be ready by summer next year, some of you in the room, I know particularly one person that knows very well about blended learning. So we want to make this shift. So we talk about smart buildings, so we are moving in this direction. Why aren't we talking about this when it comes to training and even in universities? So our, let's say, working assumption is that any type of training in terms of building professionals should have a blended approach. So part of it should be online, that you can do it at your own pace. Especially that from the feedback that we got so far, a lot of the designers and also installers, they are SMEs, so they cannot always afford to take a day off or several days off to participate in trainings. So if you could move the listening part of the training in an e-learning environment, then you can do it at your own pace. And of course you can write down questions and so on, but then it would always be all doubled by a, let's say, interactive interaction, so that it's either still online, might be, but most likely in person, so that you have less people that can talk and experts in a certain field and can bring to surface some issues that if you just stick to the e-learning environment, you would never be able to fully grasp. So I have two slides on this, but you already received the slide deck, so I will not bore you. And of course, the blended learning approach has advantages. Of course, there are also disadvantages, nothing to say about that. But what, at least me, as part of this team from Riva's side, I'm dreaming is that this CEN-CE scheme will cover all EPB standards. But if the EPB standards are a very good starting point in this direction of having a common approach and convergence at EU level, why shouldn't it be built further? And look at building performance in general, extension of the standards, because you have a lot of EU level stakeholders and industry groups that have their, or companies that have their academies, and they provide all sorts of information, and sometimes on innovative technology that maybe it's not yet well considered in the standard, but the standards are very good at taking innovation. So if we have this dialogue somehow enlarged, maybe we can fasten up this process of really transforming the European built environment. So that was it from my side. Thank you very much.